Right now, we're going to go back to the United Center, and Scott has a special guest with Raymond Lopez there. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, from the 15th Ward, kind enough to stop by. He's very busy today, but of course, he always makes time for us at Fox 32, and that's one of the reasons that we appreciate him so much. Always good to see you, sir.
Scott, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm sure if I can, kind of climb in between that headspace, you've got to be a little bit relieved. One of the themes since we've been out here, now day 4, is relief, because there was so much of the narrative had been what's going to happen in Chicago, these protesters, and are we going to see violence in the streets? And as I told you, personally, I think the Chicago Police Department has done a yeoman's job de-escalating what could have been, in several instances, bad outcomes. I wanted to get your take.
Without question, Scott, Chicago hoped for the best but planned for the worst. And it appears that all of these outside agitators go to the same Donald Trump school of measurement, because they said we were going to have 100,000 people here and wound up with like 2,000. But, enough credit cannot go to CPD, the fire department, and especially Superintendent Snelling for being out there on the front lines every single day to make sure that we remain professional, respectful, and constitutional.
And I want to get to the superintendent in a moment, but I wanted to ask for your response to what we saw, in particular, our Nate Rogers, Scott Metzger, our photographer, who was in the thick of it at the Israeli consulate. I had the luxury of being in our studio, so I was in the cheap seats. But that night, when the supporters of Israel were standing toe-to-toe with the pro-Palestinian protesters, and of the entire week, that was the most contentious moment. And yes, 55 to 60 arrests made. I'm not sure on the exact number, but the wall of police officers, and what we learned later from Superintendent Snelling about the bottles being hurled by those agitators that you mentioned, the terrible things that were directed towards the female officers. And you said something to me, I think that was very telling, about the playbook. And tell our audience what you told me.
Our officers, our department has been preparing for what was going to happen based on the lessons that we learned in 2020. We saw during the civil unrest following the murder of George Floyd how many of these agitators descended upon our city and did exactly what you described: frozen water bottles, using PVC pipe as weapons, umbrellas, all of that. And all of those same tactics that were employed on us 4 years ago were being employed again at the consulate and numerous times throughout. But our officers knew how to respond. They didn't fall for they didn't take the bait. They allowed them to try their best. And many times our officers were skillful in stepping back and allowing them to encroach even further so they can make an arrest for violating that space. So, our police, our superintendent, all of them have used what we've learned over the past to our advantage to keep our city safe and to not let anyone take advantage of Chicago for their own political purposes.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment to get your impressions on, in this moment, really where he's in the spotlight, and that is our superintendent, Larry Snelling. I've lived here long enough now to see a handful of top cops come and go. And I, for one, my father-in-law, a long-time police captain, so I'm incredibly loyal to our men and women in blue. But I've been so impressed, not only by the way he conducts himself with the press, because I'm in the press, but by the way he stands by the rank and file. And we've seen that play out this week. And I wanted to get your impressions on Larry Snelling as someone who came up through the ranks, as we know, but as someone who is, at least from my vantage point, a cop, first and foremost, to those who he stands shoulder to shoulder with.
That has always been my experience with the superintendent. He used to be one of my commanders in Englewood. He was the commander in 7 during the 2020 when individuals descended upon the community, and even then he stood out there on 63rd Street personally to hold them back and say, you are not going to destroy this neighborhood. And we've seen that same mentality play out now with our officers. And I think that's in part because he feels very comfortable around the rank and file, in part because he's trained many of them when he was the head of the academy as well, teaching them how to de-escalate, teaching them how to use force, teaching them how to be constitutional so that they are beyond reproach as we deal with incidents and situations like what we've seen unfold over the past week.
Yesterday, I had an opportunity to speak with a professor from Northwestern, Jaime Dominguez, and he teaches race and other urban issues with youngsters. And I wanted to get his take on whether or not he felt that the Latinos were well represented this week during the DNC. And I mentioned to him that, you know, we had Ana Navarro on the stage and we had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but that given that a third of our demographics here in the city are Latinos, if he felt that they were being represented adequately, and he felt like they were. And I wanted to get your take.
I think if you look at Latinos as a monolithic group, it's easy to say that, well, we've had plenty of them on the stage. We've had equal amount of airtime for them and for their speech. But I think that what we have to realize is that the Latino population, like so many demographics, isn't just monolithic. Because what we've seen are a lot of left and left of left Latinos speaking on this stage. But we also know that particularly in our communities here in the city of Chicago, nearly half our electorate, if not more, is more center-right.
It's a good point.
And they are not being heard. Their concerns are not being addressed, and they are not being welcomed to the party. They are basically kind of left hanging, waiting to see tonight if the vice president, our presidential nominee, is going to address some of the issues that they care about most. For example, are they going to address immigration, the border crisis that has come home to roost in the city of Chicago, especially for the Mexican community, which has a high number of undocumented here in the city of Chicago, which the Democratic Party, my party, has promised DACA, amnesty, promised everything under the sun over the last 2.5 decades. And yet here they are now with 8 to 10 million Venezuelans who manipulated asylum and are here and are viewed as being leapfrogging over them. So you have a lot of outstanding questions that I think many in the Latino community are going to want answers for, and that may or may not bring them out to vote or possibly put them in the opposition's column. And I think the same applies with the African American community as well, especially when in some areas you've seen questions about investment and opportunity that have been denied for decades because of lack of funding, while they simultaneously see $1.3 billion magically appear for 45,000 individuals here in the state of Illinois.
And, you know, that leads me right to my next question, because if you look at the polling and you look at polling that delves into specific policy matters, Donald Trump leads significantly on the border. And he can hang on the Biden administration, not so much lately the numbers of border crossings, because frankly the Mexican government, my understanding, has done a much better job of late at keeping border crossings down.
As have a number of Central South American countries as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. But if you're looking at the influx, to your earlier point, of asylum seekers who have arrived since, you know, last summer, you know, that is on the Biden administration. There's no doubt about that. Those centrist and not so far left-leaning Latinos that you were talking about, what do they want to hear from Kamala Harris?
I believe what they're going to want to hear. I know what I want to hear. And I want to hear, how are we going to address those who are already here? How do we give them a path to come out of the shadows, whether it's DACA, whether it's legalization? What do we do for them first before we address the asylum seekers that are here? They have, in many cases, 5, 6, 7 years to wait before they have to deal with any kind of issues legally. But we also have people who are here now waiting for an answer. And I think the Democratic Party in particular owes them an answer, because much has been promised while little has been delivered.
You and I have talked in the past on multiple occasions about whether or not Chicago can continue to afford to shelter asylum seekers. How are we looking fiscally? I mean, there is a lot of agenda that has yet to be, those boxes have yet to be checked for Mayor Johnson. Are you concerned going forward if suddenly we see another influx?
I'm concerned right now because we are committing this year alone $600 million of Chicago taxpayer money for this issue. We have nearly half of Congress here in this building with us today, an aspiring president and former presidents. We should have demanded that they support Chicago's bill right now when they came here, as well as the multiple times when even Joe Biden was here when he was still in the office. Our taxpayers should not have to pay the bill for the federal government's failure to address the border. But we are, and I think that was a missed opportunity by the Johnson administration to address that, because they're all here what are we getting out of it other than $25 million for the past 2 years?
Interesting. Before I let you go, I'm just curious, speaking of money spent or money not being spent, Bears, your thoughts? Where would you like to see them ultimately land, and how would a stadium be paid for in your dream scenario?
You know, Chicago Bears belong in Chicago. They're not the Arlington Heights Bears or the anywhere else. But I think that I have a problem with taxpayer money going towards building stadiums for billionaires. Additionally, we've seen how it's panned out with Comiskey Park, Grant G-Rate, whatever you want to call it over there. But when you have no incentive to fill seats, you get a very different result and return on investment. Look at what's happened to Wrigley. Beautiful, expanding, growing. Look at what happens at Sox Park. Half the time they don't even know there's a game. We could do better, and the South Side deserves better.
Before I let you go, you're going to be walking over to support firefighters. You want to get a quick shout out?
So speaking about finances, you know, the firemen have been without a contract for years. We need to go out and support, so I'll be joining them, and I encourage all of your viewers to come out and join our other first responders as they demand some recognition and respect from the city of Chicago.
15th Ward Alderman Ray Lopez always has been a tremendous friend to us here at Fox News Chicago. Great to see you finally on day 4 of the DNC. Hey, let's send it back to the studio.